Christine McVie was more than just a member of Fleetwood Mac. She was the emotional heart of one of the world's most famous rock bands. Her gentle voice and soulful lyrics gave the band its warmth and balance. While her songs spoke about love, strength, and hope, her personal life was full of pain, loneliness, and silent battles. From a young age, Christine was drawn to music. Born in England in 1943, she grew up in a home filled with melodies. Her father was a musician, and her mother claimed to have psychic abilities, often saying Christine had a special light inside her. That light would later shine across the world, but it came at a heavy cost. Behind her success was a woman constantly fighting against her own sadness. Fame brought her recognition, but it also brought pressure, heartbreak, and deep emotional scars that never fully healed. While millions admired her smile and sweet presence on stage, very few knew that Christine often stood in front of the mirror, wondering who she really was when the music stopped playing. Christine's journey began modestly. She studied sculpture in art school, but soon realized her heart belonged to music. In her 20s, she joined the blues band Chicken Shack as a keyboardist and singer. Her voice stood out, soft yet strong, filled with soul. The music scene in the 1960s was mostly dominated by men, and Christine had to work twice as hard to earn respect. She carried heavy equipment herself, wrote her own songs, and proved she was more than just a background performer. In 1968, she met John McVie, the bassist of Fleetwood Mac, and they soon got married. When she joined the band, everything changed, for her and for music history. Fleetwood Mac became a blend of talent, creativity, and chaos. At first, life on tour was exciting. They were young, free, and chasing dreams. But success came fast, and so did the problems. Endless tours, alcohol, drugs, and affairs turned the band's journey into an emotional battlefield. Christine began to feel trapped between love and career, fame and loneliness, a feeling that would haunt her for decades. As Fleetwood Mac's fame grew, Christine's personal life started to fall apart. Her marriage to John McVie began to crumble under the stress of fame and constant touring. They were playing on stage together every night, even as their relationship was ending. It was a painful situation, two people in love, forced to act like strangers in front of thousands of fans. Christine poured her pain into music, writing some of the band's most emotional hits like Over My Head, Say You Love Me, and You Make Loving Fun. Ironically, those songs about love were written at a time when she felt completely unloved. Around this time, Fleetwood Mac recorded the album Rumors, which became one of the most successful records in history. But behind the scenes, the band was falling apart. Affairs, addictions, and fights filled their days. The fame they had dreamed of became a nightmare. Christine once said that while people danced to Rumors, the band members were quietly falling to pieces. Yet, despite all the chaos, her music remained a source of light, offering comfort not only to listeners but also to herself. Christine was known as the calm one in Fleetwood Mac, the quiet center of the storm. But holding that peace came at a price. While her bandmates publicly fought and made headlines for wild behavior, Christine often suffered in silence. She turned to alcohol to numb her feelings, drinking to escape the emptiness that fame brought. After her marriage ended, she tried to find love again but kept getting hurt. The demands of touring and fame never allowed her to truly heal. She often said she felt like she had two lives, the one people saw on stage and the one she lived alone in hotel rooms. Her talent made her rich and famous, but it also made her lonely. Behind her soft smile was a woman constantly battling anxiety and exhaustion. As years went by, she began to lose her passion for performing. The bright lights that once gave her joy now made her feel trapped. She was tired of pretending to be okay when she wasn't. Her friends noticed her slowly disappearing. Her laughter, her spark, even her love for the piano started to fade. In the late 1970s, Christine reached a breaking point. The pressure of fame, failed relationships, and constant touring finally caught up with her. One night, she found herself in a hotel room, surrounded by sleeping pills, ready to end her life. The pain had become too heavy, and she saw no way out. Thankfully, she didn't go through with it. Something deep inside told her to hold on. But the scars from that night never fully healed. She began to withdraw from the world even more. The band noticed her changing, but everyone was too busy dealing with their own problems. Drugs and alcohol were part of their everyday lives, and nobody wanted to talk about depression. Christine tried to focus on her music again, creating beautiful songs like Little Lies and Everywhere, which showed glimpses of hope. But even in those songs, there was sadness hidden between the notes. She sang about love and joy, but her eyes told another story, the story of a woman who gave everything to music and got her heart broken in return. By the early 1990s, Christine had reached her limit. She was tired of traveling, tired of crowds, and tired of pretending to be happy. She decided to leave Fleetwood Mac and move back to England. For the first time in decades, she wanted peace and quiet. She bought a big country home in the countryside and surrounded herself with animals instead of people. At first, she enjoyed the silence. No interviews, no paparazzi, no stage lights. But slowly, the silence became too quiet. Isolation took over her life. She rarely spoke to anyone and avoided public appearances. She even said in one interview that she felt invisible. Years passed like this. Her once glamorous life turned into lonely days of reflection. She looked back at her years with Fleetwood Mac and realized how much she had lost in the process. The fame that once felt like a dream had become her prison. Still, somewhere inside her, the artist in her never died. She would sit at her piano and play softly, reminding herself of the person she used to be before the world took over. In her later years, Christine began to understand that her real battle wasn't with fame, it was with herself. She had spent so long running from pain that she had forgotten how to live without it. Therapy and reflection helped her open up about her struggles with depression and anxiety. She started reconnecting with her old bandmates and slowly returned to music. In 2014, she surprised fans by rejoining Fleetwood Mac for their tour after being away for 16 years. When she walked on stage again, the crowd's love overwhelmed her. It was as if the world was welcoming her home. Christine later said that performing again made her feel alive, but she also knew her time in the spotlight was limited. She had lived through so much: love, loss, heartbreak, and healing, and now she wanted to spend her final years in peace. Her voice wasn't as strong as before, but her heart was full of wisdom. Every note she sang carried decades of pain and beauty. Her comeback wasn't about fame, it was about closure and forgiveness. Christine McVie passed away in November 2022 at the age of 79. The world mourned the loss of a legend, but those who truly understood her story mourned something deeper: the passing of a gentle soul who spent her life healing others through music while struggling to heal herself. Her songs continue to play everywhere, reminding us of the emotional honesty she brought to every lyric. Whether it was Songbird, Everywhere, or Don't Stop, her music always carried a message of hope and love. Yet behind those words were years of heartbreak and survival. Christine once said that she wrote songs to make people feel better because she knew what sadness felt like. Even in her final years, she remained humble, grateful, and kind. She never saw herself as a star, just a songwriter who wanted to make people smile. Her story is both beautiful and tragic, a reminder that even the brightest lights can hide the darkest shadows. Christine McVie may be gone, but her music will forever echo in the hearts of those who find comfort in her gentle melodies. Today, Christine McVie's legacy shines brighter than ever. Younger generations who never saw Fleetwood Mac perform live are discovering her songs and connecting with her words. In a world full of noise, her music stands out because it feels honest and human. She wrote about emotions everyone understands: love, loss, and longing. That's why her work continues to touch millions around the globe. Many artists today, from pop to rock, have called her one of their biggest inspirations. She showed that you don't need to shout to be heard. Sometimes the softest voice carries the strongest message. Christine's journey teaches us that fame is never the real reward. Peace of mind is. Her courage to keep going, even in pain, is what makes her story unforgettable. Behind every lyric she wrote was a piece of her soul, given freely to the world. And though her voice has gone quiet, her music keeps singing the truth. that love, no matter how painful, is always worth it. Christine McVie was never like most rock stars. While others loved the spotlight, she often hid from it. She didn't crave attention or drama. She just wanted to make beautiful music. She once said that fame felt like standing under a bright light when you only wanted to sit in the shade. Even when Fleetwood Mac was at its peak, Christine avoided interviews, parties, and magazine covers. She preferred to stay home, cook for friends, or paint in silence. To her, fame was not exciting. It was exhausting. She often looked around and wondered why success had to feel so heavy. Behind closed doors, she wrote songs late at night, sitting by her piano, surrounded by half-empty wine glasses and unfinished lyrics. These moments of solitude helped her express what she couldn't say in words. Through her songs, she shared her emotions, joy, sadness, heartbreak, and hope, with honesty. That's what made her music timeless. She didn't write to impress. She wrote to heal. And in healing herself, she unknowingly healed millions of others who listened to her voice. Fleetwood Mac was known for drama. Breakups, jealousy, and personal conflicts constantly surrounded the band. But through it all, Christine McVie was often the glue that held everyone together. While Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham fought over love and control, Christine quietly tried to keep peace. Her calm energy helped the group survive years of chaos. Mick Fleetwood once said that Christine was the soul of the band, the one who kept the ship from sinking. She was the steady hand behind the madness. Her sense of humor also helped. Even in dark times, she could make everyone laugh with her sharp wit and warm smile. She believed that no matter how difficult things got, the music had to go on. And it did, and because of her. When others argued, Christine would sit at her piano and play softly, reminding everyone why they were there in the first place, for the love of music. Her quiet leadership never asked for credit, but without her, Fleetwood Mac might not have survived the storms that nearly tore them apart. Christine's calmness on the outside often hid a deep fear within. Despite her fame, she struggled with anxiety for most of her life. Crowds made her nervous, and the idea of being judged terrified her. Many people saw her as confident, but she often described herself as shy and insecure. Before concerts, she would drink wine to calm her nerves, trying to hide the trembling in her hands. Her fear of flying also became a serious problem. At one point, she refused to travel with the band because of it, choosing to drive across countries instead of flying. These fears isolated her even more. She sometimes stayed behind when the band toured other continents, which deepened her loneliness. Christine later admitted that fear controlled many of her decisions, from ending relationships to quitting the band. It wasn't that she stopped loving music. She was just too tired to fight her inner demons. But even through that fear, she managed to create art that touched the world. That strength, to keep going despite fear, is what makes her story so powerful and human. Christine's love life was full of heartbreak and hope. After her painful divorce from John McVie, she had several relationships, but none gave her the peace she wanted. Fame often attracted people who loved her success, not her soul. She once said that it was hard to find someone who loved Christine, the person instead of Christine, the star. Her most famous romance after John was with Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys. Dennis was charming and wild, a free spirit who matched her emotional energy, but their love was intense and chaotic. He struggled with addiction and emotional instability, and Christine found herself caught in a cycle of love and pain. She tried to save him, but his self-destruction pulled her down too. When Dennis died in 1983, Christine was heartbroken. She described their love as beautiful but impossible. That loss left a deep wound in her heart, one that never truly healed. It made her cautious, even fearful.